Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. I've got my mate El Tel with me here today. How's it going, Tel?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Finally coming out from my confinement.
Yeah. We do it with socially distancing here. He's a good, couple of metres away.
I'd rather be 5 metres away, to be honest, but 4 will do.
Yeah, I personally would have rather done it on Skype, mate. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, here we are. So we're going to talk about a few things. The main thing we're going to talk about is the Tyson Fury Dillian Whyte situation. Obviously, how that affects the potential undisputed. Obviously, Deontay Wilder's in the mix. Talk about Usyk, Pulev, all that stuff. But the first thing we want to get into is the Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury situation. Okay, first of all, let's get things started. Do you want to give us your glass?
So wait a minute. Who are we sponsored by this week?
We're sponsored by Blackbush Irish whiskey. Decent, solid whiskey, affordable, not too expensive, but a good, solid bottle of whiskey.
Have you got a link for them to buy that whiskey?
Yeah, that'll be on my Instagram and Twitter.
Nice.
So check it out there. You get a discount code.
Lovely stuff.
Okay. So yeah.
Thing is, in all this time, obviously, boxing is quite a different sport, for example, to football. So obviously the return. The return of sport in general is obviously very complicated, isn't it? Football, obviously, with the amount of people there are on a pitch in a football match, maybe makes it more complicated than boxing.
Yeah.
I reckon probably boxing has got. Obviously, it's like a more sort of contact sport where you're literally hugging each other potentially for 12 rounds.
Yeah, like a spit flying out.
Yeah. But I think they can potentially find a way to do some boxing events in a safe way potentially, and maybe even having some kind of crowd there. But with a metre, 10 metres between each person in a big stadium, you could still have 5,000 people there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you can have it like you have these sort of small scale places in. Leisure centres and stuff where you've got a table and then over there you've got another table.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can just have
I've just seen
they can do that, but obviously expensive.
I've just seen on Twitter before a Danish Football League match, and they had about 3,000 in the ground, and there was literally every 3 rows there was a geezer sat there watching the game.
Yeah.
But
do you want to grab that for him?
Yeah.
Dog's going mental. Alright, nice one. Problem solved.
I think in boxing, it's going to be very difficult to just watch one of these fights with literally no crowd, and I don't believe this sort of fake crowd noise they're using in football is applicable in boxing in any way. So it's just literally going to be watch them having a sparring session with all the scory sounds of it. I don't really know if I'm that up for watching that, so I think we need some kind of crowd in there, even if it's with good social distancing.
Yeah, I reckon you can have.
I think boxing you can do it essentially.
Yeah, well, I heard him talking about. Obviously, Eddie Hearn was talking about doing it in his garden. I don't know really how that would work because I'm not sure when they'd be able to do it in terms of weather and that. But they're talking about potentially Pulev against Joshua with quite exclusive ticketing. So you're on a table, you're quite spread out, it's very sort of VIP, you've got your sort of bottles of
basically
whatever.
500 people spread between about 100 tables around quite a big space around the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Possible, isn't it?
Yeah, you could maintain that distance, you could obviously charge quite a lot of money because it's exclusive, plus obviously the TV money.
Well, not just as exclusive, it's like a different event, isn't it? If you were there at that Joshua title, coronavirus kind of title event where it was just in tables at Eddie Hearn's garden, it's worth money, isn't it? Just for the strange one-off situation.
No, you could potentially get all your sort of celebrities and politicians.
Maybe they could actually do something good and do it for charity.
Yeah.
Maybe they could give half of that money to charity, and all the sort of rich people in the country paying to go and do it and help the NHS or I don't know what. I think boxing anyway can get back fairly soon in some capacity, and there's potentially some amazing fights that need to be made soon, aren't they? Really, these fights have been bubbling under, and these fighters need to go. They can't just someone like Dillian Whyte. We might as well start talking maybe about Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
he's been like working his way for a very, very long time to getting some like real solid chances. Like, and he's ready to go now, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, let's get straight to that. Dillian Whyte then. Dillian Whyte, I think we can all agree, deserves his shot at the WBC title, regardless of what you think about the situation with Joshua and that opportunity that he had. He deserves a shot at the WBC title.
That's the belt he's been going for all this time, isn't it? So.
Yeah, he's paid the money for the fees. He's fought like people within that ranking system. He's fought for all those sort of interim belts, etc.
He's taken very dangerous fights, hasn't he?
Yeah. So Wilder and Fury have a contract signed now. Obviously, we don't know how that's going to go. Apparently, Wilder was in. He didn't look too. I don't know if you saw the video of him.
I saw a bit of it and deleted it from my phone after someone sent it to me.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look too injured in that, but fingers crossed that fight for whatever reason doesn't happen. And I'd love to see Fury against Dillian Whyte next, because Anthony Joshua. Pulev is not going to step down apparently. Also Usyk, I saw a thing with the promoter of Usyk, and he's saying like, no, we want that opportunity.
So right now, explain to me, because I'm a little bit behind on all of this, who has the rights to what? Usyk at the moment, what does he have the right to demand?
Well, he's a WBO mandatory, because the way the WBO works, because he was the champion in cruiserweight, he's come up, he deserves that shot. So there's basically like the IBF is first, then it's the I think the WBO is after it.
Okay.
The WBA, I'm not sure when they had the WBA the last, but that was I think that was Povetkin. So it's the IBF's turn with Pulev, then Usyk. So it looks like at least one fight that Joshua's going to have. And probably Usyk as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're Usyk and his people, you're probably thinking Joshua is a much better fight for me stylistically than Fury.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, because Joshua's like big, strong, but he's not as mobile.
Fury, you've got doubts, haven't you, for Usyk? But with Joshua, you're thinking, no, this is the kind of guy I can beat.
I think that's a good style matchup for Usyk. Yeah.
Whereas with Fury, you're thinking maybe he can even beat me at my own game almost.
Yeah, so he's basically can move as well as me, but he's about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and also, it's a good moment to be fighting Joshua. If you're fighting him on the other side of him beating Fury, for example, now it's like a different proposition.
Yeah, and also
Joshua back to his best. He's reigning supreme. He's got full confidence.
And you're bigger in the UK than you are in America. Joshua is like fighting in the UK generally.
Yeah.
So that seems like makes more sense. But Dillian Whyte against Tyson Fury, have you heard any of this stuff from Tyson? Tyson Fury obviously talks a lot of stuff, and it's difficult to really take anything he says seriously because he contradicts himself. He winds people up.
What's the relationship between Whyte and Fury? There's never really been that much in the past between them, has there really?
They've had their little flare-ups here and there. I think they've done a bit of sparring together. I think personally, I think like Tyson Fury, the way he is, the way he likes to put it on people, and the way he is very aggressive in his sort of build up and all that, I don't think he'd try that with Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte's the kind of character who's basically a bit of a loose cannon. So if he started trying to if he tried to do what he did to Wilder and did to Klitschko, Dillian Whyte would just kick off there and then.
He literally lob a table over his head and he doesn't even flinch.
He'd be up for just having it there and then. Yeah. So you can't sort of out-mental him. You can't go in there and start trying to be all mad and try and intimidate and try and put him off his game. So it's an interesting one. I personally would like to see it. But I don't think that Tyson Fury would particularly pick Dillian Whyte as an opponent. I think it's something that he could do without, to be honest.
I think if you say that Fury, basically, it was easy for him to fight Chisora, some people might say, well, therefore it'd be easy to fight Whyte. I think Whyte is a different level to Chisora, at least for Fury, for the way he fights. Yeah. He's going to punch you much more venom, much more dangerous, and basically doesn't care about getting in a firefight. He's up for the firefight, and if he can drag you into it, you could be in trouble really for Fury.
Yeah, he's a harder puncher as well, and also he's got longer arms.
Yeah.
So Tyson, he was able to with Chisora, he really did have all the physical advantages in that fight, didn't he? He does to a certain extent with Whyte, but not quite as much.
You don't really want to get on the inside of Whyte if you're Fury, do you?
No, those body shots hurt.
You're not really enjoying that, are you? And if you take that away from Fury, that takes quite a lot of his game away, doesn't it? Because he's good normally at fighting on the inside.
Yeah, well, He can do everything, can't he, Fury?
Yeah, but that's like an exceptional part of his game, really, that he can suddenly just start fighting you on the inside and doing you with like little uppercuts and cheeky shots.
Yeah,
like.
I tell you what, I'd fucking love to see it, mate. That would be a real interesting one. The only thing I kind of think it would be very interesting. I think Dillian Whyte could have a good chance because he wouldn't really go in there. First of all, he's one of the few people that Tyson Fury couldn't really put it on him mentally.
No.
Also, I just think that his approach to it, because Dillian Whyte's like a lot cleverer than he seems, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he'd go in there with a decent game plan, he'd make it like quite ugly, and it'd be difficult. You see, like Otto Wallin, okay, that wasn't necessarily dirty, it was quite dirty, but really it was just a good game plan, stuck to it, just made it difficult for him. Now, he's not, well, he certainly hasn't shown he's at the level of Dillian Whyte yet.
And he doesn't have anything to scare Fury like Whyte does, obviously.
No, if you think Dillian Whyte could go in there with a proper game plan and make it like a real hard night's work for Fury. The only thing is, Dillian Whyte has got quite bad balance, and he does tend to swing. Like, I've seen quite a few fights, especially with tall fighters, where he's kind of doesn't really get the range too well, and he'll just swing a big punch and end up sort of almost like tripping over his own feet.
That was happening to him a bit against Joshua, right? Wasn't it really? It happened to him a little bit in that fight.
Yeah, but it's happened to him in quite a few of his fights that I've seen, and against someone like Tyson Fury, I think that would be the obvious thing for him to exploit, just to kind of pick him up and keep him moving, keep him off balance, and just kind of pick him off. Because Dillian Whyte doesn't really have great stamina, at least not always. You see him against Josie Parker, he pretty much. Josie Parker, he was really out on his feet towards the end of that fight, wasn't he?
Yeah. I don't think this is really a great fight for Fury, to be honest, and I don't think Fury really wants that fight. I think it's a very intelligent fight for Fury to have, to be honest. The big fight for him obviously is against Joshua. That's the big money fight that everyone wants to watch, and that's the Whyte fight is very, 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 very dangerous, isn't it? It's the riskiest fight you could possibly have. Joshua will be sending Fury texts saying please don't do that fight.
So you think
this guy is dangerous.
Do you think Fury's going to duck Dillian Whyte?
I think Joshua, Fury, Hearn, and the whole boxing universe will try and enforce him ducking it because they just don't want to risk losing this Fury Joshua fight, which I can kind of understand. You know what I mean? In a way, I could almost understand if Dillian Whyte thought, I want to wait for the other side of it as well. There's more money on the other side of that rainbow as well. So you can understand why business-wise maybe this fight doesn't make that much sense right now, but it's a great fight to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If you're Dillian Whyte, you should want it because it's just your chance to nip in there and take it all. But at the same time, maybe it's better for him to just fight the winner of Fury and Joshua.
Well, you're just in that position. You've got there. Yeah. You basically, I reckon he's a little bit because he knew, or at least thought, that he would do the same thing to Wilder. He always saw Wilder as a real fucking soft touch, didn't he? Yeah. He thought he'd just get in there, slap him up, bully him, basically.
That's why he deserves this shot now.
Yeah. So he's looking at Fury thinking, you cheeky fucker. Yeah. You basically come in, you've nicked my mandatory, you basically bashed up this dustler before I got a chance to do it, and now you're going around giving it, and now you're sort of not going to give me the opportunity. Yeah. He's fuming. That's why he's going to go into this. I mean, he's obviously
that's understandable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he beats Fury now, potentially how much money is there in this fight for him, and how much money is there in the Joshua fight for him if he beats Fury, compared to, let's say, if he waited for the other side of the Joshua Fury fight?
Well, if he beats Tyson Fury, because everyone's saying obviously this Fury Joshua that's big. It's never Dillian Whyte against Joshua's never going to be as big. First of all, because Dillian Whyte
fought once. First of all,
he already fought once. He's already got knocked out. Yeah. So even though Joshua lost, he's still the sort of golden boy, isn't he? And he's there. So and Tyson Fury's undefeated. So that fight is massive. So if he was to beat Tyson Fury, obviously his stock would rise massively, and that would hugely increase his value in that fight. But the fight wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. But if he fights, imagine if Joshua beats Fury. Yeah. And now it's Whyte versus Joshua. Now that fight is a big fight now. It's a bigger fight.
Yeah, but he didn't like the terms when Joshua had three belts.
But now you've got no choice because now Joshua has all the belts. Why can't you now fighting Joshua? No, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world and be the ruler of the world.
Yeah, but in terms of what would be a better position for him, beating Tyson Fury, he'd go around calling himself the lineal champ, the WBC champ. He goes into that.
He gets as much money, does he?
Well, he gets a much bigger percentage.
Yeah, he does, but like well, maybe, I don't know. I suppose we don't really know, do we? But right now, if he can have a fight in the next, let's say, 6 months against Fury, is there going to be the same money in boxing matches from Sky or from whoever as there could potentially be like in a year and a half?
Well, no, that's true. There won't be as much money because obviously the live gate element is a big factor, isn't it? So they're going to have to take a pay cut. But him going into that fight with Joshua, it's going to be like later on down the line anyway.
Yeah.
So if he can somehow beat Tyson Fury, become the sort of WBC champion, the sort of the final piece of the puzzle, plus the lineal champ, plus the man who beat like Tyson Fury, who beat Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, so okay, fair enough. So you're saying that you think that Dillian Whyte, the best thing for him now is to fight Tyson Fury and beat him. Okay, great. Yeah. So, but obviously nobody else wants this to happen, really, do they?
Well, it depends. It depends, like what? Because basically, like if
I mean, in the boxing game, I mean, in the heavyweight division, do they want that to happen? Do the people who make the decisions really and can make this like a reality? Does anybody want that to happen?
But the Joshua Fury might be kind of a little bit on the back burner just because of the uncertainty of everything.
Yeah. And
everyone's like,
we could do it in a year and a half, and when we know it can be the mega event, it should be kind of thing. Yeah. True.
But that's risky, obviously.
Yeah,
but
massively. Well, every time that Joshua is in a fight now, he's got a chance of losing it. You've seen him lose to Ruiz, so like you can lose. Fury is always going to be like a tiny bit chinny, like we know he is. So like he's always going to have a risk in any of these fights as well. Like Dillian Whyte can knock him out, and and to be honest, like Joshua is, I think, like very good, but I think he can get done by by Pulev, for example. So
it's possible.
It's not. I don't think it's going.
It's
to
a
happen.
bit like, to be fair,
each time you have one of these fights, if they're both having fights and they end up between the two of them having 6 or 7 fights, someone could get knocked out here, I think.
Also with the layoff as well, it's a bit like you watch the football just restarted, and you see people, their touch isn't that good. They're like, the sort of ring rust element. It does. Obviously, everyone, it just sort of adds an unknown quantity to the fight, doesn't it? Where you think possibly Pulev is experienced, only lost to Klitschko. I just think the style of Pulev is not going to really trouble Joshua, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe, but like we've seen like the best, or one of the best Joshuas when he beat Ruiz in the second fight. Maybe you could say, or like a terrible Ruiz, I don't know. But a much improved Joshua anyway, in my opinion, compared to the first fight. But we saw a pretty poor Joshua in the first fight.
Yeah, but that was but I do think that was a bad style matchup for him.
But he's capable of a poor performance. I'm saying.
True.
I've seen him like not have the great performances every single fight. This is the kind of fight now where suddenly you've had a layoff, where it's a weird situation where there's no fans, where like a bad performance could happen. Yeah. And like in football, a bad performance might mean, oh god, we lost this game this week. But like in 3 days there's another match, so we can try and get back on winning track. But it's not the same in boxing. So you could literally just have an off day and Pulev knocks you out and ends your career pretty much. End your career at that level anyway. If you've been beaten by Andy Ruiz Jr. and Pulev, then you can stop going around saying you're the best. Well,
unless he just does a sort of Vladimir Klitschko style, because he got sort of, and then just comes back there. Next thing you know, like Joshua's like 40 and he's like dominating, like
pause the pants off boxing for a decade.
Just like fucking jab, grab, lean. Do you know what I mean? It could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any boxers are going to be taking any chances right now. Like they know that like it's just a risky business like that.
I think that Joshua's going to just do a demolition job on Pulev, to be honest. I reckon I might go like a few rounds. Well, it will go a few. He's not going to go in the first round like Mike Tyson, bang. But
I don't think he's going to take any risk in that fight, for example. I think he's just going to like train to just annihilate this guy in 2 rounds and get out of this like dodgy situation, basically.
Yeah,
it's just a risky fight.
No, I think that this is perfect for him because, like, obviously the Ruiz fight, he had to play it safe because he'd just gone in there, he'd just been battered by this bloke, so he had to sort of use his feet, use his range. Now his sort of reputation has taken a big hit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So he needs to go in there and do a sort of bad man style demolition job on someone. Pulev is the man to do it.
How many people have done bad man demolition jobs on Pulev?
Vladimir Klitschko. I'd done it when outside a pub, but it wasn't on film, it wasn't on camera.
Cobbles, you know what I mean? It's different. But there's not that many people who've done demolition jobs on Pulev. And it's quite dangerous going and thinking, I need to do a demolition job on this geezer.
True, but Vladimir Klitschko had done it on him, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. He's not got better since then. Well, he's an exceptional boxer, but the point I'm making there is like Pulev hasn't got any better, I don't think, in that last 5 years.
I don't really know exactly where Joshua's going to be today at this point.
Yeah, but it's
sparring
there.
is going to have been absolute garbage in all this time. Yeah. All your training in recent months has been rubbish. Yeah. Whatever sport you've been doing, it's not been real training. The sparring, the level of sparring, the level of just everything, like the gym work, the number of specialists normally they go and see, like probably Joshua in 1 week in one of his training camps goes and sees like 2 or 3 different specialists of different things per week, maybe for like little fine tunings of like, I'm going to do a little half an hour session with this guy on one thing, or, you know, who knows, like psychological stuff, whatever. All these different people they work with. It's been more difficult now, obviously, with all this situation, hasn't it? And like you're not going to be as good as you would have been normally. Nobody will be.
Oh no, that's true. But
so every fight is more dangerous because it's a bit of an equaliser. This, if you're just taking that little 3% off an elite fighter, he's now not an elite fighter.
Yeah,
that's the reality of sport, isn't it, at that level, especially in a combat sport.
I just think Pulev is
sharpness is everything.
Pulev's he's a good fighter. He's solid. He's he's been top 10 for a while. He's had good consistency, but he's like 40 years old. I just think the style that he has is not really going to trouble someone like Joshua. I think he's got like.
Sorry, I just started thinking about his sort of dating style and his like general like oafishness as a man.
When he's like kissing that journalist.
I just suddenly started thinking he should not be bothered by this guy. This guy should be like left behind in boxing history, really.
Yeah, he's a bit of an oaf, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, he's decent.
He's a good fighter.
No, he's good. He's solid, and he's got like a good fundamental. He's big, strong. Seen him beat Chisora, beat Huey Fury, beaten like some decent fighters along the way. But I don't think he's. If you're Anthony Joshua and you're on your game and you want to prove a point, you should really beat him very convincingly.
So you think it's a much easier fight, for example, Pulev and Povetkin?
Yeah, because Povetkin's very dangerous. Povetkin's a very hard puncher, and also like the style for Joshua is difficult. He's a bit like Ruiz.
Yeah,
he's short, explosive, power puncher. Do you know what I mean?
So that was a difficult fight for him. It wasn't easy, that fight.
Yeah.
It was a good fight.
Povetkin Povetkin, he's only lost that fight to Joshua and to Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko, that was a disgraceful performance. Yeah. Just like grabbing him, headlocks, throwing him on the floor. So again, he's a bit past his best. He's like 40 years old.
So you're thinking that Joshua is basically now going to get past Pulev. He might possibly have to fight Usyk. So let's talk about this.
Okay, now we're
Joshua versus Usyk. What's going on with this?
That's a real interesting. That is what I would like to see. To be honest with you, I like Pulev first because everyone else like basically put straight with Usyk. That's what's more interesting. I can understand that, but I don't mind the way it's gone. Like especially now with his layoff, but even before that, like just had the 2 fights with Ruiz. I don't mind sticking with Pulev, get a bit of confidence because Pulev's good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very good.
Beat up Pulev, then like have a sort of 50-50 with
But has Usyk got another fight before he supposedly fights Joshua?
Yeah, supposedly fighting Chisora.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I like that fight as well.
I do, but I kind of do and I don't, to be honest.
But I want to see how does he beat Chisora? Like, what's his tactics?
Yeah.
What's his strategy? Because it's going to tell you a lot about him. Like, he's never fought a proper heavyweight.
But you're probably like the same as me in the sense that obviously, like, well, I assume that he's exactly the same as me, but I'll speak for myself. I like Chisora. I'm a big fan of Chisora, and I like the fact that Chisora is having a bit of a sort of second wind with his career, and he's got some good wins. And I don't really want to see him just get done by someone. But at the same time...
But he's a test that I want to see
Usyk at the same time I like Usyk and I want to see him do big things. Yeah. So I don't really want to see either of them lose. So for me, it's like a bit of a...
Yeah, but it's like, for example, Bellew. Okay, like I respect the way that Bellew went and fought Usyk. In my opinion, before the fight, like I was saying before the fight, Usyk's going to actually destroy this guy. He's just on a different level to this guy. I think most people really thought the same, and that's basically what happened, wasn't it? So I didn't actually mind the way Bellew did it, because I thought, like, fair play to you, mate. You went and fought the best out there, really. Yeah. He can't go and fight Anthony Joshua or Fury. He's just not big enough. But he went and fought Usyk. Fair play to him. I thought that was quite brave. In this situation with Chisora, I think Chisora is basically saying, like, Let me be the gatekeeper, but literally the gatekeeper's the absolute elite, not to the heavyweight division. Yeah. Literally the gatekeeper that if you beat me now you can be fighting Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like in this particular case, it's quite a sort of a cool moment for Chisora almost.
Yeah, it is obviously Chisora as well. Like
he can beat Usyk, and then everyone will always remember him for this win. This is a massive win if he beats Usyk.
Yeah.
It's the greatest ever win.
Yeah. Also, Chisora is obviously wanting to earn a lot of money, isn't he? He's at the point of his career. He's fought Vitaly Klitschko, he's fought Tyson Fury, David Haye.
At that point of his career, mate. I think Chisora always wanted to earn money.
No, he's always wanted to earn money, but like what I'm saying is he's already for like. He's already got a load of losses on his record, as sort of good as he is.
Attacking his food.
Just eat it, mate. Don't bark at it.
Oh, right, no, he's just got a couple of bits of food in it, water, that's why.
Okay, a little water broke here. No, what was I saying? He's fought a load of good people, and he's got his record. He was sort of thrown in the deep end, wasn't he, Chisora? So he's got like more losses on his record than he should have, considering how good he is.
No, he's basically he's fought is unbelievable.
Yeah, and he's been unlucky in some. Like he blatantly got robbed against Hellenius. A lot of people think he's unlucky in the first Dillian Whyte fight. You think he won against Klitschko?
Yeah.
You know, LTL dropping those controversial.
For me, that was a clear win.
Yeah, it was a clear win.
Yeah, clear win for Del Boy.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on the line. Klitschko, if you want to get in touch.
If we'll do something about it, mate.
At LTL.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely thought it was a top fight. I don't think any ball Klitschko.
I think
that was an excellent performance. It showed just how good he was. It's one of the best performances I've seen from a British boxer. Really.
I think it was probably, from what I can remember, like one of Klitschko's hardest fights. Like definitely, maybe like the Lennox Lewis fight was harder, and maybe like Chris Bird when he had his freak injury, but. That was definitely one of his hardest fights.
Do you think of like a sort of losing, like British heavyweight, like Tyson or whatever? That was one of the best out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He really took it to Klitschko.
Yeah, oh yeah, slapped him up, spat water in Vladimir's face. It's complete like hooligan on tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate.
Like, basically like done.
One of my favourite moments in British boxing. Really, that was.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, he knows his value. So Usyk is obviously someone who's that they're trying to sort of bring up to that level, like at least at heavyweight.
Yeah.
So Chisora's got a big fan base. He's got a name. So if you want to sort of go through me, you got to pay for it.
What do you think is the British boxing fans' opinion of Usyk?
Everyone loves Usyk, don't
they? As soon as he beats Chisora, let's say. Like I think he will almost be like a British fighter.
Yeah, he's kind of like an honorary British fighter, isn't he? Like. Because it's a lot Lomachenko less so, because obviously he fought once. He's fought quite a lot in America, but he was very well received, wasn't he? When he fought Luke Campbell, everyone loved him. But Usyk more so because he's fought.
Usyk's already
he's much more. Yeah. But it's
just like basically imagine like you live in like London, and he's just a geezer that lives on your street. Like you can imagine being a bloke that lives on your street.
But this is potentially this is a bit of a. If you look at it like that, in the sense that he's very popular, everyone loves him, this is the worst possible person for him to fight with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because even like, because obviously you got like Joshua and Fury, like the two most popular, but at the same time they're like the sort of.
I'd say Del Boy's more.
Del Boy's more sort of, he's more popular in a different sense, because obviously like Joshua and Fury, like no disrespect to Del Boy, but they're like sort of winners, aren't they? Yeah. Whereas Del Boy's like a classic like British hero, like tries hard,
if you're
gives
it
his
all.
all.
You've got a problem.
Yeah.
Like really, you have a problem.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be hating on AJ and hating on Fury.
I wouldn't say he's got more personality than Tyson Fury. He's definitely got a lot more personality than Joshua.
Yeah.
Not many people have got more of a unique personality than Derek Chisora, have they?
Derek Chisora is a legend, mate. Yeah. He's a legend of British sport, full stop.
So for Usyk, that's potentially going to hit people. I reckon if he fought most other people. Sorry about this. It's, alright, mate. Fuck's sake. Alright, I reckon if he fought if he fought most